this way, with as many scientists as we have, we can still seed rain and induce rain and ensure that at least we get some harvest. As going on this way, we'll still keep on looking for food, importing food, which is really a disgrace. I'm finishing. Your Excellency, we cannot go without also mentioning the KRA. KRA, as we all love to pay tax, and indeed when I first received the first letter from income tax demanding some tax, I knew that they knew that I was in business. However, sometimes we think they become a nuisance by keeping on knocking over and over again in the same source, in the same offices where they had collected. If we can harmonize way of collection tax so that manufacturers have time to actually go on producing, I think that one can make it more friendlier between ourselves and KRA, and we'll be able to work together harmoniously. Going forward, Mr. President, we value the plight of our farmers, and with the changing global climate, as I've mentioned, it is worthwhile damming and ensuring that our land policy is strictly adhered to. Going to Thika Road, we lost all the coffee farms along Thika Road, and now we are looking for new growing territories. I believe it's good, and it's easy for us to stick to our agricultural policy and ensure that this competition between the farmers and home developers is actually controlled by home developers moving to more agricultural area and stick to semi-arid area for home development and leave agricultural area for agricultural growing. Mr. President, I know I sound a little bit, or I will land into troubles with quite a lot of these home developers, but I feel now that I should propose some solutions so that I can wind up. The gentleman here to stop looking at me really with very cruel eyes. Government have to ease access to credit. For instance, the Hustler Fund to be a game changer for the survival of SMEs. The government is to encourage constructive stakeholders engagement so that we foster meaningful relationship, i.e. between KRA and businessmen. Government to work with stakeholders to develop regulation and address late delayed payments and appoint a little sector regulator. For this, I'm saying we have seen the death of Uchumi, the death of Nakumat, the death of Tuskys, and the death of another South African chain. All this, Mr. President, went down with manufacturers' money, ranging to over 600 billion Kenya shillings. This money has never been recovered. Typically, we pay KRA tax on the 20th of each month of invoice. This late payment means if I give you credit for 3 months, I have paid your VAT 3 months. 3 months of tax is held. When such organizations go down, they go down with money which we are not also able to recover from KRA, and it is tax we had already paid. Your Excellency, this needs really re-looking into, serious view from your able department there, and I'm sure with that we can harmonize and look for a way whereby it can be a win-win. Your Excellency, if I were manufacturing in Kisumu, taking goods to Mombasa in a branded vehicle, I would require a license to go through every county. Otherwise, goods keep on getting stopped on the road. Vehicles are detained. Some goods are perishable. They don't get to their destination. And I think it will be very good for your government, Your Excellency, to create a one license whereby one can take a Kenya license and they can all share from that pool to facilitate trade, to stop it from closing from border to border, whereby they are stopped. These people say, I need this license, otherwise I'll impound your lorry. Your Excellency, this is why I felt that I really needed a little bit more time to explain these things and to make sure that it comes out clearly to you, Your Excellency, because I know you hate lazy workers. I know you are a worker. When you call yourself a hustler, it means that you are a worker. And being a worker, these captains here promise you that they will put in hard work. But can we also be having regular consultation with you so that we can be telling you when it hurts, we tell you where it hurts, you easen up, and together we shall make Kenya grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kimani Rugendo. We understand and thank you. Your Excellency, to close this session, I will invite Mr. Tess Babu. Babu, kindly take us only 3 minutes so that we move with the rest of the program. Tesh, karibu sana.
His Excellency, the President of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto, captains of industry, and all distinguished guests, I'm humbled very much today to stand before you. As you can see, I embody the real hustler, and I'm glad to represent the 7.4 million MSMEs in this country who create jobs for over 15 million Kenyans. So we at Market Force enable these MSMEs to access products affordably, and we link them up directly with manufacturers. I am representing the youth and the technology sector because it is a huge enabler for various industries in this country to be able to grow. So today what we do is we have over 125,000 dukas across the country that we are supplying these goods to on a daily basis. And we've been able to expand this operation to Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda as well, where we have multiple dukas ordering, and we're currently working with Kenyan manufacturers and enabling them to be able to export their products into this market and not worry about how they distribute in this market as well. So we're expanding the market share for Kenyan manufacturers by doing that, and also supporting the small manufacturers in the country be able to extend their trade. So one thing I'd like to say is that we're very non-discriminatory when we come to working with dukas and mama mbogas. So we're very excited about the Hustler Fund and all the initiatives that the government is currently working on to spur innovation in this sector as we work with fintechs and other banks to ensure that credit is affordable for these dukas that we work with. In the process, as mentioned earlier, I won't belabor the point, but there's a lot of jobs that are created through the manufacturing sector. We employ 426 people directly today who support us in this distribution in the country. And we're very excited also by the administration that is coming in. There's a lot of energy. We're working closely, hopefully, with the new CS for Trade, as well as the Kenya Association of Manufacturers CEO, as we look at how do we continue to support manufacturers to extend the distribution network. So quickly, I'll talk about the technology sector where we play, because this is very important. The last 6 months, in Kenya. The first 6 months of the year, over $1 billion has been invested in over 76 Kenyan technology startups. And this is a very good direction for us. What I'd like to ask is if the government can consider setting up a sovereign fund or something that can ensure as foreign investments are coming into the country, Kenyans are also investing in these companies so that when the next M-Pesa, the next Amazon, the next Google, we have money coming back to Kenyans' pockets, not all the money being exported to the foreign investors who invested in us and many other companies in the space. So lastly, just to say thank you very much for this opportunity and this stage to present what we're doing at Market Force, and I hope that we'll continue to have more public-private partnerships that will continue to spur the country forward. We're excited and we're happy to have you, Mr. Excellency, in the next 5 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tesh. Your Excellency, with your permission now, I will welcome the Governor, Nairobi City Council, Honorable City County, Honorable Johnson Sakaja. Governor, karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. In the interest of time, I'll just make some quick remarks. Your Excellency, earlier on I was told I'll be invited to welcome people to Nairobi. But I told my friend, Mr. Wanjoi, our work is not to welcome people to Nairobi. These manufacturers are in Nairobi. And a lot of the solutions they need are in Nairobi. So we need to discuss that. So it's not just about welcoming them. Your Excellency, over the past few years, we've been engaging with the Association of Manufacturers at the Senate and in many other forums. And I'm glad that in the first few days, since we got into office as a county government, we've already met the Nairobi chapter of the Association of Manufacturers, and we made progress on a number of issues. Number one, Your Excellency, we are determined to make Nairobi the manufacturing hub of East and Central Africa, and eventually Africa. That we're determined to do it, and we'll work. And that's why I'm asking the companies to come and tell us what do you need from us. What we've agreed, Your Excellency, number one, is on the issue of a unified business permit. There are too many licenses being paid. As of now, we are 70% in the process of actually reducing it to one license for Nairobi County. But I'll prevail upon you and my friend Moses Kuria that you also reduce the ones from national government. Because manufacturers and SMEs are spending more time complying than doing their work. So today you're paying this license, kesho there's another license, the next day another license, and those avenues for rent seeking. So the county government of Nairobi, everything that we ask for will only be one license in the next few months. We have made progress. We are willing, Your Excellency, to also collect the national ones on your behalf. You have MCSK, you have PRISC, you have CAMP, you have so many others. We put them in one pot and then distribute. Let the business people focus on doing business, not on complying, Your Excellency. Secondly, I understand the issue of multiple assessing from county to county on advertising. If you're driving a truck from here to Mombasa, it's a discussion that we're having at the COG. We need to get a creative way of sorting it out, because I realize there's no governor who's willing to let go of their, revenue-raising capacity, but still we need to have, a way that doesn't hurt the businesses. Ideally, we would ask you to register in a county and pay that county. And of course, that county would be Nairobi. The other governors will not be willing to do that. But we'd like to hear your ideas on how we ensure that counties still get the revenue without stifling businesses. Our work is not to stifle businesses or to stifle manufacturing, but actually to promote manufacturing. Your Excellency, additionally, we had a lot of complaints on those in building and construction, on the system that had been there previously. On NPDMS, I'm glad to note, and I'm very happy Mr. Mburu is here. Our teams, both at the Nairobi County Government and the KRA, have been burning the midnight oil for the last 3-4 weeks. Next week, we'll be launching a new Nairobi plan, where in that platform, all of the complaints that have been there from the building industry, Your Excellency, have been catered for. Professionals in the building and built environment sector can track developments from the time you upload an approval to the time it comes out. There must be predictability. Nikila said you need certainty so that you know where your approval is at whichever stage of the process. Your Excellency, we're also going to launch next week our new revamped revenue system for Nairobi. We call it Nairobi Pay, which addresses all of these issues. And I want to urge the manufacturers here, please, lipeni ushuru. We will serve you. Already for those in the industrial area, I am doing 39 roads. We're doing 39 roads for you. Linus forgot to mention I did for him. He's in Kasarani before I was governor. We will give you the environment to do your work. But we need you to also support us to be able to serve you better. So we hope that it will be more efficient. There's no payment that will be received in Nairobi after next week in cash. We are digitizing all our revenue streams. If anybody asks for payment in cash, just know it is not Nairobi County. Everything will be digitized. And we know what has been happening in part of the city, Westlands, in the CBD, and in industrial area. Your Excellency, additionally, a lot of the issues that our manufacturers have is water. The cost of water and the reliability of our water system. We all know we have a shortage. We need 850 million liters per day. We get 525. Your Excellency, through the national government and Athi Water, we expect 140 million liters to come in soon. But there's a challenge with the NLC because of the way leaves. We ask that you intervene so that it can come faster for us to be able to serve our industries and also for us to be able to recycle. But we will also now come to you because we've said we need a city of order and dignity. But we cannot have that dignity when many of our manufacturers are the ones who are polluting our rivers. It is yourselves who are polluting and engaging in illegal dumping. Once we provide and we're designating those zones, we will have to agree on what to do. Your Excellency, in your inaugural speech, you spoke about a Nairobi Rivers Commission. 70% of the effluent that goes into that river is industries and sewerage. We will sort out the sewerage system, but the industries need to be able to sort out their effluent coming out of them. Your Excellency, additionally, as I just going to conclude, I think we need to, and I'm glad the young man who spoke just before me, talking about technology. We need to really radically ask ourselves questions about manufacturing and about where we're going. As a country, we cannot do the same thing and expect a different result, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, agriculture is great, and I'm glad I had my friend from Unga Group saying he's producing for us each agunia. But your CS nominee for Treasury will tell you that in as much as you're getting 24% contribution to GDP, the contribution to national revenue is less than 3%. That gap is a value chain gap, which must be sorted out, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, China in 1952, 83% of people in China were employed in agriculture. In 1977, it went out 77%. In 2012, it's 33% because of industrialization. It doesn't mean you're killing agriculture, but you're creating value to where we create jobs. And that is why we also need to, radically, and I'm glad your CS for Trade is a free thinker. Yeah, is a free thinker. As we discuss the Hustler Fund, which is important, I would ask that we do a balance. That yes, if I give a kiosk $1 million shillings more, will they hire more people or add more stock? But if I use that money to guarantee investment in rapidly scalable tech startups, that then, for instance, Twiga in 3 years was able to hire 700 people, where is there potential for creating jobs? So yes, we must sustain that, and we must give them mamboga, we must give the mom and dad shops, but we need rapidly scalable startups that then are able to hire more people. Your Excellency, in the Senate, I sponsored and passed a startup bill where we are providing that government guarantees and de-risks investments, because we can't afford to put money into those startups. But there are angel investors out there who are willing to come and put money if there's a climate where there's de-risking of those small groups. The innovation in Nairobi is amazing. This is the Silicon Savannah. But we just need to provide that framework where we just de-risk these startups, that if somebody's investment at whatever first series or whatever point, if something happens, then they can recoup 30%, 20%, and that is how we'll address the issue of jobs. So we cannot just focus on the one two shops. Your Excellency, please, we'll need support legislatively. We're doing that in the city. Finally, Your Excellency, I just want to thank you for the support that you've given us so far in being able to sort out the issues of, the Nairobi Pay, Nairobi Plan, what we've discussed together with you that we will be launching. We ask that you also support us in pushing the prompt payment bill, which we had left in the Senate. Many of these people have money owed in government. I inherited a pending bill of 99 billion in Nairobi County, with NMS having 16 billion. If we don't pay them, we can't create those jobs. I want to guarantee manufacturers, Nairobi is going to be the economic hub of this continent. Please don't move out of Nairobi. Stay in Nairobi, and we will make Nairobi work together. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Governor. And now Cabinet Secretary Betty Baina will invite Your Excellency. Madam CS.
Thank you very much, Wanjohi, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for spending this morning listening to the manufacturers and sharing their vision about things that can happen. We know your time is tight, and we are very, very acutely aware it is tight. So let me just thank you and invite you to speak to them at this moment. And thank you, Moses, for organizing this event.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's sit down. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I do not have anything to add to this conversation. I am thrilled by what I have had here. For once, we are having a different conversation. We are not having a conversation how difficult things are, the challenges, the problems, the hurdles, and all that. We are having a conversation about opportunity. And every speaker here has spoken passionately about the opportunities that we have, from textile to leather to the whole array of opportunities in housing, in SME, and the whole array of that. I just want to promise you one thing, that this administration will work with you every step of the way until we redeem all the opportunities that are available for us as a country. You have persuaded me that it is possible for us to create 1 million jobs from the manufacturing sector. You have persuaded me that it is possible for us to move the contribution of our GDP from manufacturing from 7% to 20% in 8 years. So all that is standing between us and 20% contribution from manufacturing and 1 million jobs, and all the opportunities that you have ably elaborated this morning, is continuous engagement, continuous consultation, working together, and everybody realizing that nobody has the monopoly of good ideas, sharing those ideas, and making sure that we move together as a country. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that I will be available, my administration will be available, the CS, Moses Kuria and his team will be available, our CS for Treasury will be available, so that we can actualize all these opportunities together. You have said ably, and if you've gone through our plan, from the whole array, from, for example, leather. We've had this conversation about leather. There is absolutely no reason why today we should not be a champion in the whole leather products space, because we are slaughtering 3 million livestock every year. We have the third largest herd in this continent. Yet, we are importing 110 billion worth of leather products into Kenya. It completely doesn't make sense. As has been said here, we can increase our revenues. We can increase the contribution of leather to our GDP from the current 15 billion to 75 billion because we have everything to make that a reality. I want to promise you that we are very clear about what we want to do in the leather space. We are very clear about what we want to do in the textile space because we believe that therein lies the opportunity for us to create jobs and create wealth. And therefore, this conversation this morning is a very important conversation to me and to every Kenyan that is listening to us. You have said yourselves very ably, we have 16 million kids in school. They need a pair of shoes every year. We only produce 4 million pairs of shoes. Never mind all the leather products that would come with it. And we have the raw material right here. The raw material is rotting, and yet we are importing leather products, shoes, using other people's hides and skin when ours is going to waste. It doesn't require any genius. You know, we don't have, there is nothing for us to have a conversation about. We just need to connect our raw materials to the market, jobs in between, money in between, and all of us will be doing well. So it is my intention that this great potential that we've always had, the great opportunity that we have always had, we must make it a reality in the next couple of years. And I am prepared, I am willing to work with you in that space. All the paperwork has been done. All the plans have been documented. All we need to do is to plug and play. Make sure we bring this to a reality. And ladies and gentlemen, I am here, lock, stock, and barrel to work with you so that we can actualize those opportunities. The leather space, the cotton value chain is a big value chain that can give us all the jobs we need. You just heard here, we have a market already negotiated by policymakers. $150 billion or $300 billion market. We are only doing $500 million on textile. We have the biggest resources around Kenya. We have the Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone, which is going to be a huge plan for us. We have the Naivasha Industrial Zone, which is going to be another big investment opportunity for us as an administration so that we can leverage on the steam that we have for free. We can leverage on the energy at a lower cost, and we can build the whole ecosystem that will aggregate what we are producing. Listening to the small producers that I listen to outside here and listening to Tesh, it speaks to the power of aggregation. How do we make sure that every small producer and every small manufacturer and everybody who is adding some value to some product is aggregated and made possible for them to access the markets? I just want to ask industry, the captains of industry sitting here. Ladies and gentlemen, there is absolutely no reason why we are selling our tea and process 95% in a space where we have the biggest competitive advantage. I want to promise you that whatever government is supposed to do, I have already had a conversation with our tea marketers, and I have told them that if it is required of me to invest in a common user facility so that we can add value to our tea, the government of Kenya is going to invest in a common user facility. It is not going to be possible and practical for us to continue to export our tea unprocessed. 95% of it, we are getting 120 billion now. We can get 300-400 billion shillings by merely adding value, period. The farmers are already working too hard to produce the tea. Who is failing our farmers? Our manufacturers. You guys. You're failing our farmers. Our farmers are producing all the tea, the third largest producer in the world, on half an acre, on 1 acre, on 2 acres. What we are doing, we are failing them because we are not adding value to what they are producing. We are continue to sell our tea in the auction. We are getting peanuts for it, and many other people who do not have a single push, who do not have a single bush of tea, are making more money than us. Good people, our manufacturers, give us the value of our tea. You are the people who is standing between us and money. True? Our farmers are working so hard with close to 30 million units of herd of livestock. They have 3 million hides and skins every year. Is it being eaten by dogs? It's rotting. It's being buried in some places. When I went round Kenya with our economic fora, this was the issue everywhere. Mandera, Wajir, Tana River, the whole of that space, Kajiado. Farmers were asking us, livestock keepers were asking us, what are we going to do with our skin? Who is this group of people standing between us and the value that we can get from our skins and hides? You people. You are the people standing between us and 75 billion of product that we can sell. And we have a ready market, starting from our own children in school. Even the local market in Kenya alone, we are importing 12, 15 million pairs of shoes alone every year. Market is not the problem. Raw material is not the problem. The problem is the people to add value. They are sitting right here. True or not true? So, good people, as I said earlier, we must have a different conversation. We're having a conversation here about, you see, we have a problem with VAT refund. How does VAT refund stop us from adding value to the hides and skins that are going to waste? Muniambie. You know? So, and I'm not saying that there are no challenges. There are challenges. But there are bigger opportunities than challenges in our space in Kenya. Let us focus. Let us focus more in the opportunities that exist and less in the challenges that we have. We can overcome the challenges by leveraging on the huge opportunity that we have. We have a huge market. In EAC, in Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we now have the market infrastructure for us to take over the market in our continent. The reason why our continent is importing milk, powder, food, is because Kenya has not taken its place. Kenya is supposed to be the country that would position Africa appropriately to be able to make sure that we supply every commodity, every product that we should. Instead, we are having a quarrel, small quarrel. Uganda is bringing cheaper milk. Uganda should bring cheaper milk because they can produce it much more cheaply. We should be adding value to our own milk. We add value to our own milk, and I want to say here, we had a program of improving on our milk value chain. We had first 300 milk coolers. That product was sabotaged. That program was sabotaged because of interest. But I have gone back to that product. We are going to have another 660 milk coolers. We're going to add value to our milk. What we should be doing is our milk from our farmers. We should be adding value, producing butter, using it to produce powder, and go and sell it in DRC, go and sell it in Central Africa, go and sell it in West Africa. And then we get the cheaper milk from Uganda and we drink. Sindio? Yeah. Instead of having a quarrel with Uganda, why are we having a quarrel with Uganda? We are having a quarrel with Uganda because we have refused to take our rightful place in our continent. We should have made more steps and allow Uganda to come and occupy the next place as we move ahead. Are we together, good people? So we must have a different conversation. And I am happy that Moses is here. I have confidence in what Moses can do. I know he has a good brain. And working with you guys, yeah. This Moses Kuria, forget about the noise sometimes he makes. I promise you, he has a good brain. So we're going to work together in this space. And I want to give you, you know very well that I am not a lazy person. Yeah? So I will work with you and I will make sure that whatever opportunities that can be actualized, working together with you, we actualize those opportunities and move our manufacturing to 20% of our GDP in the next couple of years, 8 years, if not less. Access to credit is a big component of our plan. Financing is going to be a big component of our plan. There are some that we can cover with the Hustler Fund, but of course we have the Kenya KDC. KDC is going to cover your space. That is the area where we need to raise capital for industrialization, capital for manufacturing, capital for value addition, so that we can work with the SMEs, make sure they have access to credit, but also build the capacity of our Kenya Development Corporation so that we can also have resources available for the people in your space. So, good people, I am very happy this morning that we are having a progressive conversation. And I am very confident that going into the future, Kenya is going to move to the next level in our manufacturing and industrialization scale. I am looking forward, as we have all said, by 2030, we should be producing 1 million more jobs from manufacturing. We should take our manufacturing from the current 1 trillion of our GDP to maybe 3 or 4 trillion of our GDP. We should be able to move our contribution in terms of tax revenues and be able to work together. And I understand, and Mburu here will tell you, I have had a very intense conversation with him on matters tax. Yes, I've had a very intensive conversation with him. I have asked him very difficult questions because part of our revenue gets lost because the stamps that you use on your manufactured goods, we have more fake stamps than genuine stamps. How is that possible? You know, we have to sort that out because we are losing revenue. Part of why our contribution of manufacturing to GDP in terms of revenue is low is because very many people pocket our money, or the money meant for taxes. So we're going to reform that space. Mr. Mburu and his team have very clear instructions for me on where we should go. I believe that in the next 2 years, we should be able to move our revenues from 2 trillion to 3 trillion, and to double it in the next 5 years. Many people may not like that story because it means we are all paying taxes. But I'm sorry, we must all pay taxes, and I will lead the way by paying taxes. There will be no exemptions for people who are politically connected. There will be no exemptions for nobody. It's going to be the same yardstick for everybody. Are we together? That's the direction we are going to go. And I want to promise you, good people, that we will also make our tax regime predictable. I agree with you. I agree with you. Investments in manufacturing are long-term investments. You need a predictable tax regime so that you can know how your investments are going to look like. I agree with our good brother who said we need to reform our income tax, our income tax law, so that again we make it up to date. There are too many patches of it. Nobody knows how it looked like in the first place. So I agree with you that we need to do some work around that space. But as I work hard with our legislators to be able to improve that space, please make the opportunities that we have in this manufacturing space a reality for our country. It's good for your businesses. It's good for our agenda of job creation. It's good for our agenda of export-led growth, and it's good for everybody. So let me leave it there. I'm sorry. I really should have given more time to this meeting. I did not, I underestimated what we were coming to do here, but I promise that the next time I will give you more time because you are speaking the language of taking Kenya to the future. Asanteni sana, and I know there is a small function here to award some people. I hope we can do that in 2-3 minutes so that you can allow me to be engaged somewhere else. Asanteni sana, and God bless you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We will award SMEs, and the first one, Your Excellency, is winner in Human Resource Management, and it goes to B. Care Apiaries. Quickly, please. B. Care Apiaries, that's the first award. The second award to be followed by Mbagdev Holdings, American Limited, all in that order. Kindly, we start coming over so that we receive our orders.